Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine with Behind the Markets. Happy Friday. Whew. TGIF. I'll tell you what, TGIF this week especially. Today is Friday, May 9th, and as you can see, I needed an extra boost. I took my son to the Marlins game last night. Dodgers were in town. He has to see all the great players play once live, and Shohei Ohtani is clearly one of the best players to ever play baseball. It's amazing. So we got home late, traffic, the whole thing, and I needed a little extra pick-me-up this morning. Anyway, before we head into the weekend, I know a lot of you folks have sent in so many questions, and I'll get to some more of those next week besides Palantir, which we talked about yesterday. I just want to do a broad overview of how I'm looking at this market. I sent this to Tickle for Targets members yesterday. The good news is the market is almost back to where it was on April 2nd, the day that President Trump announced his Liberation Day tariff policies. The market has made up a lot of the losses since that has happened. A lot of friends of mine are saying, look, we told you everything's going to be fine, everything's great, yada, and that's great. I'm just not wired to be either super optimistic or super pessimistic on anything. The way God wired me is to just look at facts and really be dispassionate in my analysis. So let's look at the positives and the negatives. On the positive side, the news broke that President Trump announced a trade deal with the UK, a quote, comprehensive deal, which is great. It's a small win, but it is a win. Nobody can say it's not a win. I've always viewed the UK in this situation as that desperate girl who just wants your attention. Getting a date with her is awesome, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. Anyway, another bit of positive news. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent is headed to Switzerland, is probably in Switzerland now, talking to China. That's also positive. The Chinese have sent out signals that they want to talk about fentanyl. They're saying to the administration, what exactly do you want us to do with this fentanyl problem? So I don't think they took him seriously about his desire to stop the fentanyl. So I'm very happy about that. And you need to talk to people. So we're flexing our economic leverage and our economic power, and that's very good. But look, again, that's the good side. And thirdly, the economy, first quarter was pretty strong, as we see in these AI earnings like Meta, Microsoft, Amazon. We see strong earnings. We see strong earnings and demand for AI. But listen, guys, even if President Trump dialed the tariffs back, they're at 145% on China. If we dialed them back to 50%, even if he dialed them back to 50%, which I think the market's kind of baking in right now, it would still be the largest tax increase since the 1960s. It would still take 2 to 3% maybe off of economic growth. So it's still huge. Billionaire Paul Tudor Jones, who's a serious man, he's not like a lot of other people. I don't talk to you about people who aren't serious. And by serious, have deep insights and have made a lot of money investing over time, and don't let politics muddy their view of investing. You don't become billionaires if you really do that too much, in the markets at least. But anyway, he said, quote, we'll probably go down to new lows even when Trump dials tariffs back to 50%, the China tariffs. I tend to agree with that. I think that the float up in the market has been on not great volume and mostly retail investor driven. Goldman Sachs wrote in a note to their clients recently, history shows that bear market rallies like this, quote, didn't mark the trough in their respective bear markets. That's my experience too. I think specifically in 2008, 2009. Again, I was the guy in late 2006 who was saying this market is just insane. This housing market's crazy. It's going to blow up, blah, blah, blah. I was like that one guy talking to myself for a long time that people laughed at, and that's fine. People get it when they get it. But anyway, I remember during 2008, as the market started to go down, there'd be some rallies for a month or two. The Fed would lower rates, for example, and the market rallied, I remember famously, and it made up most of those losses from before the Fed lowering rates. Wall Street and the investing public did not fully perceive the dynamic at play here, which was what was concerning to me. And of course, the market just ended up going down. It went from 16,000 to 12,000, 10,000. And of course, on March 6th, hit 6,500, which, by the way, was the best day in my investing life, despite the fact that the market was crashing for everybody. But I got to buy things really cheap. It was great for me. Anyway, finally, Royal Bank of Canada pointed out that when you look at the positioning in the options market, it shows a lot of skepticism that this rally will last. And it seems like there's a split screen here. And the fact that professional investors are saying, don't trust this rally. Who knows? Retail investors are obviously all in, but only time will tell how this works itself out. I'm not Zoltar, the future reader. What I can say is that based on math, philosophically, even if President Trump cut the tariffs by half on China, there would still be the largest tax increase since the 60s. The big, beautiful bill that he's passing through, the tax cut, isn't really necessarily a cut. It's an extension on existing cuts, which I think is fine. It's not a new cut, so it's not going to really juice the economy as much as people might think. So anyway, my point is this. It's nice to be optimistic. It stinks to be pessimistic. I know there are people in my profession who think the world's coming to an end every day. That's all they do is market. The world's coming to an end. The world's coming to an end. The sky is falling. That's silly to me. And I also think it's equally silly to be always optimistic. We want to be realistic. We're playing with our retirement accounts, okay? We're playing with our retirement accounts. So we're playing with the money that is going to set us up and our kids up. And I can't afford to be super optimistic. I can't afford to be super pessimistic. The only thing we want to try to do is be realistic. And reality tells me to be patient, see how this unfolds. Don't get caught up in the euphoria. Happy days are definitely not here again. That would be a mistake. And also the worst crisis in the world is not here again. And the truth will be somewhere in the middle. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care.